Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time. As always, thank you to our coordinator of Serene. Shit, Charlie, John, and Lux. I know them. It's always the same name, and still. Anyway, thank you very much for the support.
On today's episode of Queers of Time, we break down as we discuss all the happenings in Season 3, Episode 2, A Question of Crimson. Break down with us as we discuss Cersei Lannister's show debut, Matt the fuckboy being a fuckboy while listening to fuckboys fucking, and Ryma Sedai's totally chill Houdini return to the tower after one of the most traumatic scenes of Season 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a second to realize who Cersei Lannister was, and I was like, wait.
Especially I disagree about the comparison, but that's fine.
Oh, I'm just being silly. I don't even think it's that big of a comparison.
No, but that's actually a good introduction because our cold open opens with Moghedien and the ceremony of her crowning.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that as the ceremony of her crowning, and I was like, no, we don't watch her give birth.
What?
That kind of crowning.
Yeah, no, I don't think I understand what you're talking about.
Oh, I thought you were trying to say, like, coronation. Never mind.
Yeah, coronation, yes, I was trying to find, I couldn't find the word, okay, so I tried to find a way of doing that, and I know crown, so I feel like crowning, that must mean something, right?
Look, ceremony of crowning could be a queen getting her crown, or it could be her popping a kid out her cooch.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I still don't get why it could mean the second option, but that's probably because there's a word that I don't understand in that sentence.
Crowning is what they when the head is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
When the head is coming out of the vagina, the labia look like a crown.
It looks like a little crown.
Why? Why English? English why? English why?
Question for the ages.
Anyway, Moghedien. What do you think of Moghedien?
I think Morghese is savage as fuck, and I am here for it.
Yeah, I liked it. It was good. I wasn't sure exactly where, I didn't realize until just before. Like, once I saw them kneeling, I was like, oh, she's gonna kill them. She's gonna have them killed.
I didn't even think that.
Yikes.
I didn't think about it.
It was until their throats were being sliced, I did not think that they were going to be killed.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, considering they just got out of the succession war and it's a monarchy, I'm like, let monarchy be ruthless in this show. I'm fine with that. We don't need to show pretty light of monarchy. No, it's brutal. So yeah, I love the ruthlessness.
They are out there killing children. They're just like,
yeah,
it's fine.
I know I'm in the minority on this. I did not care for the child killing. That's just not something that
I mean, I don't think anyone did, Matt. I would be concerned.
I was fine with it. Like, you know what? No, take down your enemies. It wasn't like a baby.
No.
She was like 14.
She was in her teens. Yeah, she was in her teens.
Yeah.
She's fully old enough to be killed.
I mean, she would have been old enough to be a queen, so...
Yes.
Yes, what I mean is I did not care for it as a choice on the show that the show made. But that is not something that I don't care enough about it to argue about it. It's my opinion and it's not changing. But also, I totally see why people don't care about it or think it's awesome. It's just my personal thing. Other than that, it was a very good scene. I saw lots of Game of Thrones references on the blue skies.
My note did say that got Game of Thrones real quick.
It did.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
No, just in comparison to how the show has acted previously, we haven't seen a lot of monarchies. We haven't seen a lot of, like, outright mass killings. And the only comparison I have is Game of Thrones in a high fantasy TV show. So that's why I made the comparison.
Yeah.
That's the only comparison, though.
It's the closest example that we can think of, really, in like any kind of recent history. that is the closest. But like anyone who has seen Game of Thrones and who has seen the Red Wedding specifically, this is not even, it doesn't even come close.
It's not even close. Like,
it's not even remotely in the area.
The amount of blood we see in this scene is, I think, as long as the time it takes for Kathleen to die from her throat being slit. Like, we see the blood pouring from her throat for longer than we see those people being killed in this scene, which is insane when you think about that. So I did see some Game of Thrones, like I regularly see some Wheel of Time Game of Thrones comparison, especially like there's a bit of this backlash whenever there's a little bit of violence in Wheel of Time, where they're like, oh, they're trying to do Game of Thrones. But I do pay attention to that when I'm watching the episode, and there's a lot of... The show doesn't insist much on the blood pouring, for example. The first scene of the first episode was very bloody and gore, but it was like a full-on battle. But there's a few scenes in episode 2, episode 3, where I'm like, yeah, I mean, people are dying, sure, but it's not like a spectacle of their death.
It's not gratuitous violence.
Yeah.
I think it was the politics of it.
Yeah, the politics.
But I'm happy she's ruthless like that, because she's a queen, and she just won a war that probably was very brutal, and she needs to ensure that the war's not going to happen again to her children later on. So it makes sense to me.
I think part of the Game of Thrones stuff is I love the books. I mean, I love the books way more than I love the Game of Thrones books in the show. But he does not often write a lot of Game of Thrones style violence or on-screen violence, like the Black Aja in the tower. Like that was, it wasn't skipped over, but it was like, oh yeah, this happened. Whereas on the show, Rafe is like, okay, we're going to show this. This is going to be an actual scene. So it's, to me, it's not that the violence doesn't belong. I can see people like comparing Game of Thrones because violence is so often off-screen or off-page in the books, whereas Rafe is pulling out some of these off-screen things in a way that adds realism to the show. And
I think it's similar to sex, in, like this like sex in the books versus what we see on the show.
What sex?
Well, that's exactly.
Sorry.
It's so minimal.
I mean, it's all fade to black in the books.
Exactly.
It's fade to black in the show too.
It is, but it's a step. I think in the show though, it's a step up from fade to black.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like it's the books. It's just like, yep, they're gonna do it, and then it stops. It becomes obvious what's happening, and then it stops. And then in the show, like obviously because it's a visual medium, we are seeing it unfold, and so it plays differently. It's not even close to a lot of sex that we're seeing. It's more than, like, I think they've gradually increased it. But I think it's a similar kind of idea with, like, violence, where unless, with the exception of very specific shows of violence, and those are, like you know, we think of Black Tower, Male Chandlers, what's it called?
Ashaman.
Yeah, the Ashaman, yeah,
we're in that's something we forgot to mention, but the first part should be book spoiler free for the books. And at some point we're going to be talking about book spoilers, so if you have specific book reference, maybe avoid.
You know what? It means that word means nothing to you if you've never read the books. So don't worry about it. Forget about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's nothing.
Forget about it.
It's not anything to be concerned about. Don't worry about it.
One thing that I was curious about, because I saw a few people talking about like the killing of the girl especially, is whether the opinion would have been different had it been a boy, because killing like teenage boy in fantasy is actually not that uncommon when there's like killing the bastard trope that shows up very regularly. So I'm curious whether there's a part of like the gender playing a little bit in how people react to it, but I saw no proof of that, so just a theory.
I cannot speak for other people. I would have felt the same. And that's where I think the show edged a little into Game of Thrones territory, because Game of Thrones is all about killing the kids. I mean, they killed kids way younger than that. And like Morgaze slaughtering her enemies, totally within character, totally like justified. Them making one of the characters a child felt a little like they were trying to do that just to be Game of Thrones-ish.
We have no way of knowing that didn't happen in the books.
Right. But I'm saying like for the that's part of why I felt a little hung up on it. But I would have felt the same if it was a boy. So, but that's just me.
Other than that, we see Elida in that scene, which is also how we get introduced to her. And I mean, she's basically, I keep forgetting English name, but she's perfectly fine with what's going on here, which...
Complicit.
Yeah, she's complicit with it.
She helped, I think it's pretty heavily implied that she helped facilitate this. Like I don't think this would be happening if it weren't for Elida, to be completely honest. I think it's showing that Elida's significant influence over Morghese and how long this has been going on for, which I love. I think it works really well.
I will say, I love the line that Morghese gave. That war is over now because I won it.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good.
I think I made a note of that too. I was like, oh, that's really good.
I also like the nothing you have done will be held against you and immediately slicing their throat. But to be fair, I don't even think she's lying about that, because I don't think she is holding anything against those people. She just doesn't want them to threaten her own daughter later on. So
she's being very pragmatic when she said, she's being pragmatic when she says that. It's not like, yeah, I agree. She's not lying. She's not holding any, aside from having them killed, she's not holding any ill will against them. It's just that she is protecting her family's legacy. She's protecting her daughter's future throne, and she cannot have any kind of threat to that.
So it was a good cold open. 10 out of 10 in my book.
10 out of 10. Excellent.
Do we want to move on? I have my notes divided by characters, kind of.
Yeah, me too.
The ones I have next are kind of like the Morghese, Elida, Galad, Gawain, Gabriel, and a little bit of Elaine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can do that. We can start with White Tower stuff and later on move to the plot lines. Yeah, I mean, Elida. I love Morghese, Gabriel, and the rest coming into the White Tower, and Swan just making them wait.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
This is why I love Swan.
Yeah. And you can see Morghese visibly getting more and more aggravated. You get and with the contrast, you can see Swan, the delight on her face. Because it's not just that she's making Morghese wait, she's making Elida wait. And that's what it is. Because the barely restrained hostility present in every interaction that those two have is, yeah.
I, for one, hate Morghese's outfit. I think the collar is just stupid looking.
It's very Queen of Hurt.
Yeah, very.
It's costumey.
I posted on Blue Sky today about her costume. I'll put it in the episode, but basically, I loved Morghese's costume. I think it was hideous, and I loved it. It was very draggy, but I compared her today on Blue Sky. I compared her to the Dilophosaurus from Jurassic Park, the one with the frills.
Oh my god.
Because that was a big-ass collar.
Yeah. Very Queen of Hearts mixed with, like, Elizabethan fashion. It's like, that was very much, yeah. Which I assume was the point, because I think a lot of inspiration is taken from that era for Andor specifically, and for, so it makes sense. But I don't disagree with you, James. Like, it's that's the thing. Like, it's a ridiculous outfit, which I think is probably the point. Like, I think that's probably the point.
I think you take the collar off and it's just her second outfit, and it's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, my note in there was the second outfit is, like, totally great.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a question for you guys. Do you know why Queen Morghese is in Tarvalon? Like, do we think it's because of Elaine's letter in the episode before, or do we think it's like someone else told her about Elaine being kidnapped?
I think she just knows. She has eyes and ears in the tower, or Elida does. Mm-hmm. She must have known she figured it out somehow, because it takes a little while to get there.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if Lord Gabriel also is involved in this somehow. Like, as in...
Okay, that's something I actually want to ask you all. Do we want to talk about Gabriel in the non-spoiler section or in the spoiler section?
I would say in the spoiler section.
In the spoiler section, because
Yeah, let's just leave him for spoilers.
we can't really say anything more about him until episode 3.
Well, I will say, like, Liana did stutter a little bit at his name, so I was like, that was weird.
And she was not the only one. Elaine did.
Elaine did, yeah.
Every time he interacted with someone, weird.
But I love Gabriel.
Me too.
I was surprised, but he's a fun guy. His scene with Elaine when they're just drinking, and
genuinely heartwarming. Like, it was genuinely heartwarming. I was like, this show is making me feel a lot of things about a lot of people that I don't want to feel things about, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that much on the White Tower in my non-spoiler section.
Yeah.
oh, I have a lot.
Oh, okay.
We get to meet Gawain and Galad. So what were your first thoughts on those brothers?
I think Galad is hot. I know the actor is like a
A MAGA.
a MAGA turd.
Yeah.
But he's hot, so
Yeah.
See that? So I'm like the opposite. So I don't think either one of them is hot. Because Galad is bearded and I don't like beards, but also because he's like a racist, homophobe, transphobe in real life, and I don't find that hot. Gawain's actor is hot, but that fucking wig, oh my god, that wig is awful. He is a from what I can tell.
Is it a wig?
It's awful. It's so bad.
Are we sure it's a wig?
Yeah.
I'm like, every time you guys say something about the actors, I'm like, but what if you're absolutely wrong or something?
No, it's a wig because his hair is naturally dark and curly.
Okay.
He's way hotter with his natural hair. That wig is also, he's a gay. So
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Gawain looked like an idiot and Galad stuck up. There's a few things that Galad said that just pissed me off. What he says to Elaine about how she knows nothing of the world and it makes her vulnerable. I'm like, please, man, she's not a kid anymore. She's seen things. Stop thinking that you're there to be the white knight of everyone.
And Elaine's interactions with both of them are noticeably different as well. Like, the way that she greets Gawain is very different from the way that she greets Galad, which that's perfectly in line with it's as it should be.
Yeah.
I do, Matt, I did have to laugh because, like, I mean, I'm very gay. I'm not attracted to men in any way, shape, or form. But I can look at these two boys and recognize with my brain they are conventionally attractive. By, society standards, they're conventionally attractive. I understand that one of them is not great, but they're conventionally attractive boys. And so it was funny that you were like, yeah, one of them's like MAGA and so not hot. I'm like, well, I mean, you're not attracted to him.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, hotness can be...
He's still conventionally attractive.
I mean, I have the same moment with a lady character that I don't think is in this episode, so I'll just save that for later. But, like, there's a new lady character that I was like, she's hot. I'm not interested in women, but she's hot. Yeah. Very hot.
We got a lot of discussion with Moghedien.
Yeah, I love that Moghedien was just like, where's my daughter? And what time of day are they kidnapped?
Yeah.
You have not a child of your own. That one was rough.
But I mean, like, Swan's like, okay, well, yeah, I don't. I have adopted children that I don't want, but, what are you going to do? It was interesting. And Swan, like, casually checking Moghedien and saying, like, no, I understand. Listen, your feelings are valid. You're worried about your daughter, but this is my house. We are in my house right now. You don't talk to me this way.
In my house, you call me mommy.
That's right.
But I did find it very interesting how these relationships change completely once they are by themselves. And I mean, it's hard to say whether it's just that Swan knows how to interact differently with different people based on the context and what she's trying to get them. I did appreciate that Moghedien mentioned it's disarming because indeed, like, what are you manigancing? Like, what's going on there? It's unclear.
Disarming is the perfect way to describe Swan. She is disarming. She is able to speak to people and engage with people in a way that Moraine, by comparison, is not. Because people find Moraine, let's be honest, off-putting. And I think Moraine is fine with that. But Swan, and this is precisely why Swan is in the position that she's in, and Moraine is in the position that she's in. Swan is very good at this. Even though she didn't want this. She doesn't want this, I don't think. But she is very, very good at it. And it becomes very obvious just how skilled she is at dealing with different kinds of people too. Yeah, it was really well done. I also the little bit when Elaine opens her door and she sees Swan there and she's like, "Mother," and then her actual mom, she's like, "And mother." Just like, it was good.
Yeah. This show, man, I don't care for Elaine in the books, but this show has made me like Elaine so much that I immediately turned against Morghese when she mildly inconvenienced Elaine. I was like, you may have been badass at the front, but you are now on my shit list, and I don't want anything good for you to ever happen again because you are making my baby sad. And Elaine can't be sad. She deserves happy, and you're making her not happy. So fuck off, Morghese.
Yeah, but I think it was a very interesting episode for like Elaine's character, especially because like it's probably the first time she gets into a conflict with her mother, and as a result with her responsibility with respect to Andor. And I think it was very interesting to see like what she was willing to say to her mother. Sure, Swan told everyone to not say a word about what happened with the Black Asia, but it's still her mother and her queen, and she still kept those hidden, which I found very interesting in terms of where Elaine's alliances reside.
Yeah, the fact that she had the gall to be like, it's internal tower business, and that doesn't concern you, and I'm just like,
Oof,
girl, that's not how that relationship works.
Yeah. I was proud of her.
You've been in the tower for like 6 months or something. Why are you like this?
I love it though.
Oh no, I love it.
Is that to the tower, or is that to her friends also, and to what she's done with like her battle for the light?
I think it's both. Yeah,
right.
I think it's both. Yeah.
Well, she's not talking about, like, her mother doesn't really know about what happened in Falm. And her mother isn't really asking about what happened in Falm. Her mother is asking about what recently happened at the tower.
I just love it because in this episode, Elaine basically tells her mother to piss off with asking questions and then bends her mother to her will.
Yeah.
She's like... I mean...
It's a good episode for Elaine.
It is.
Oh my god. It sets up Elaine's character arc perfectly. It's such a good, like, it's a really good tension that we're seeing very early on with, like, her struggle between being Aes Sedai and her allegiance to the tower, and also her duty to the throne. It's really well done.
I did find it very interesting that they are setting up Elaine's long-term goal, which she didn't really have in the books. This idea that she wants to be the first queen of Andor that is also an Aes Sedai. That's not partially a goal that Elaine has in the books.
No.
But it gives her like an objective, and like she has ambition in a way. And she's like, why are we changing that plans now? I have shit to do. No, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, Elaine's just like, I love how you think you can tell me what to do now, Mother, after I fought the San-Chan. That's very precious, Mother. Why don't you go back to Camelin and, have some tea while I deal with the world?
Yeah, it's very, very good. Can we talk a bit about Matt and the scene with Matt and Swan?
Oh, yes.
Can we talk about, because...
Every Matt scene.
That was so good.
It was.
It was so, and this is exactly what we were talking about before. The way that Swan is able to interact with people and, like, just disarm them. Like, it just completely, like, Matt comes in, he's bragging about the horn, as he's been doing, and Swan manages to guide him into, like, drop these little nuggets and say, like, Yeah, crazy that, if you die, someone else gets the horn. Isn't that crazy? And you can just see the realization click with Matt, and he's like, oh. And then when she, like, so sweetly asks him, would you like me to take the horn for safekeeping? And he's like, yeah, you should take it, It's so good.
I swear, it felt so close that Swan was gonna be saying good boy.
Yes, she essentially did. That's essentially what happened.
And I love Sophia Okonedo because she conveys like so many different things. Like she's I need to get this idiot under control, but also I felt a genuine care for Matt from Swan. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't feel like she was just putting on okay, I got to get this dumbass to do what I want. Like I got genuine concern from her. But also she played with him.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily get genuine concern for Matt. I got genuine concern for the Horn of Valyr.
Yeah.
I did love that she's telling us the story of her uncle, Ivan.
Her uncle Juan.
Which is directly taken from the book. So that's one of the book moments that is basically directly translated here. And I just love that scene and how she's basically trying to influence Matt into being a better man in a way. Like, are you like him, Matt? Will you be there when the flames are high? I'm no hero. I do what I have to do, but I'm no hero. Those we call heroes only did what they had to do. I love that moment. It was perfect.
That's why I think that's where I felt like the genuine warmth for Matt. Like, yes, she thinks he's a stupid fuckboy, but also like the story she tells is like a very human connection. It's not just like manipulation or like a power play. Like she's approaching him from a very human level, and she's like, yeah, I mean, heroes don't call themselves heroes, so get with the program.
Yeah.
I also really love that Matt introduced himself by saying "Your Majesty" to Swan.
Excellent. Which perfect.
That was a perfect start to the conversation.
Yeah. He has the spirit is right. The spirit that he has is right, but he's not quite there. It's so good.
Donalfin delivers his lines as if he's ad-libbing every single word that he says.
Yeah.
He has such a good comedic timing and everything. It just, the emotion he has. He's a really good actor. I really like him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And I didn't realize how much. I mean, obviously we've been waiting for to get more of Swan and to get more of Swan as a person and not just Swan as Moraine's love interest. And we're getting that now. We are getting so much.
This episode is full of that.
Yeah, so much of who Swan is as a character and what motivates her and drives her. And Sophie Okonedo, I think, brings such a depth to the cast that not necessarily that it was missing, but just it adds to it. It's so every scene that she's in, it's watching her and Shora Agdashlu together in scenes, and then also the actress who plays Liani,
Jennifer Chian Garcia.
Thank you. Yes. Watching them play off, it's just so, it's so good. It's so good.
That's a scene I actually wanted to mention because there's two Swan scenes we haven't mentioned yet. There's one with Liani and Verin, where you can really see the distinction between Swan, who is very focused on the Black Asha because that's a problem of her tower, and Liani, who is concerned as fucked about Elida.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the scene where Min reappears, which was nice.
Yeah. I
just love Min's suit. I know it's the standard serving person suit, but or servant suit, but it looks really good on Min.
Yeah. Her pantsuit was better, and so much. The books. She's also in the tower at some point. At that moment, actually, and it's such a betrayal of Min's character in the book. So I like that she's keeping her pantsuit, and she's still very much Min, even if she's walking in the tower and working for Swan.
Yeah.
They updated it to make it more... They just updated it to make it more appropriate to the character and to the world that we live in now.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that no matter who she's talking to, she still has a little bit of, not really arrogance, but she has a way of things like my visions don't come with a clock. It's not disrespectful, but sometimes she's...
It's also not respectful, though. Yeah.
There was also a line from Suan where she says, Elida will only be in the tower for a few days at most, not enough time to make any real trouble. And then by the end of the episode, it's like, I'm also leaving Elida Sedai here in the tower.
The way that Swan's face just... Ooh.
I wrote gagged and gooped.
Yes, exactly that. Swan, and then the contrast to like it panning over to Elida, who looks absolutely fucking elated.
Thrilled.
She's so happy. She is so happy. It's so good.
Well, and Morghese's reasoning and just being like, you need strong Aes Sedai here, and who's stronger than the woman who almost bested you to the Amerlin Sea? I'm like...
Morghese is not clear here. I'm sorry to say, but like there's a scene between Elida and Morghese where I'm like, is Morghese trying to get Swan to fall? Like, what's a long-term goal for Morghese?
I think Morghese is trying to get back at Swan for not telling her things that she wants to know.
Right.
And so like she's aware of Swan and Elida's history. And so she's like, yeah, this makes complete sense, but also fuck you specifically.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is exactly that.
Yeah.
I love the line. I love the entire scene between Suan and Nynaeve and Elaine where they were like, where Suan was just like, I want you to be my hounds. Mm-hmm. And Nynaeve says, and why should we trust you? And Suan's just like, and that's exactly how I want you to think.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, what's so funny is that, like, Nynaeve does not like Swan. She does not trust her. She is not about it. Swan, I think, genuinely does like Nynaeve. she genuinely, or at least like there's a respect, like she has a respect for her, like she appreciates Nynaeve is maybe a better way of saying it.
Oh yeah.
See, I don't think Nynaeve likes Swan, but I think she's starting to respect her.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I agree with that because Nynaeve chose to stay in the tower, and part of that is because of Suan.
Yes.
Yeah, and also like the fact that Nynaeve kind of agree with Swan regarding the Black Aja sisters because she also can't trust anyone, so she doesn't think anyone else except Elaine and her as like are best suited to figure out what Liandrin's deal is. And also like I kind of love that they give a really good reason as to why Elaine would be part of the hunt, in a sense that Swan totally played that because she knew that Morghese wanted to remove Elaine from the tower, and she had to find a way for Elaine to actually push back against her mother to stay in the tower. So I like that.
Yeah, Swan is also making, as much as like Elida is making moves and Morghese is making moves, Swan is also making moves. She is trying to put people in the places that she needs them to be. I did very much as a Liandrin apologist, I did appreciate Swan saying to Nynaeve, like, she could have killed you, and she didn't. And she should have, if it was anyone else, she should have killed Nynaeve. She should have killed Nynaeve on sight. Why didn't she do it? And it, being the sort of catalyst to get Nynaeve thinking on that, because, we've seen this weird sort of tension between Nynaeve and Liandrin all through kind of since they first met. We've seen this sort of tension between them, and there is this respect, and I think they really did appreciate each other, and it was a mutual thing. There were other reasons behind Liandrin's, courting, I guess, of Nynaeve, but I like that other people are aware of this as well. It's not just
they're noticing.
Yeah, exactly.
Last few things in the tower. Very briefly, Ryma is back.
Ryma's back and fine.
And fine, and that's great. Honestly, I don't need more.
I needed a scene.
I needed more.
I'm
sorry. I needed more. I appreciate, I am delighted. Rafe, I am so delighted.
Camilla's like, you didn't let me finish.
Sorry.
I would have liked more time between Nynaeve and Ryma because Ryma is a mentor, and I would have liked to see more of that. However, about how she came back to the tower, I completely do not care because we know that there's a group of people that travel from Falma to the White Tower. I don't see why she wouldn't be part of that. I don't see, like, she probably came back to the tower with Nynaeve to talk to Swan about Liandrine being a Black Aja and the Senshin.
I agree.
Yeah, I assumed she was part of that group and they got to talk. I'm just so, like, that scene in season 2 was so pivotal that it seems weird to just, like, drop her in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there was something cut, for example, in the first episode. The thing is that the first episode had to start with them in the hall, so you can't really show anything that happened before. And I feel like a lot of our interrogation comes from before. So at most, it would have been nice to have, I don't know, a scene with Moraine and Ryma, like before Ryma go back to the tower, or something like something after the Black Aja fight scene with Ryma and like people from the group. But I understand that time is short, so you have to focus on characters who are more important, I guess. I'm hoping we'll get more of her at some point soon.
We can ask Rafe about it.
Yes, exactly.
I still want to. I still want to like nit about that a little bit. I'm sorry. Like, I understand where you're coming from, and I agree. But like, it was a pivotal scene. Like, it was a visceral and brutal scene, and it's just like, JK, it's all undone. So like, I want to mention it, and I want to talk about it. You know, it's an elephant in the room for me, and I feel like those of us, like people who wanted more, are valid in having wanted more, given how her story went in season 2.
The thing is that, to me, it's not a pivotal theme for Ryma. It's a pivotal theme for Elaine and Nynaeve, who are witnessing that. And I think, like, with the conclusion of, like, Falme, yeah. I guess, like, if we could have seen her in the last episode, that would have been great, in fact. The last episode of season 2.
We didn't get it. It's okay. We'll all live.
Yes, it's really not the end of the, my brain can substitute in.
Yes.
It can sort of sub in how she got from that big scene to where she is now. If we had more time, I would love to see more of like more of that, but I completely understand why we did not get it. Because there's so many other more important plot points that they had to hit. And I think it's the important part is that she is here. And she is a very grounding and positive influence on Nynaeve. And that is what Nynaeve needs now desperately. Like, she needed that. And so she is, Ryma, so glad you're back, girl. You're serving the purpose that you need to serve right now. Love you. Your haircut looks great. Excellent.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Last two thing, I guess, in the Whiter, the fight between the prince.
I thought it was interesting that Gawain defeated Galad.
Uh-huh.
That was fun.
Tiny book spoiler, Galad is better than Gawain.
Yes.
I just find it very hilarious to, like, Matt is basically hanging out with a novice. The way he said, "Did you invite a friend?" That's cheeky. The Andorian princes are like, "Oh, cheeky indeed." He wasn't against it.
No?
Oh, no. Did you also catch, like, the now grasp it with two hands? And then off screen you hear like this, and he's like, yeah, and then you go to him leaning back in his shirtless, like,
yeah.
I'm like, what are we watching, Rafe?
Yes. I know, it was very good.
I need them to make by Matt canon and not just alluded to. Like, it needs to happen.
I barely think it was alluded to in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no room for error.
I love the "didn't you think you'd be in for that kind of thing," Nynaeve? I think everyone is in for this kind of thing.
That's literally what I was about to say. Yeah, Nynaeve basically said bisexual rights. Everyone is into this. Sexuality is a spectrum. Sexuality is fluid. Gender is fluid. Everything is good. Look how far she's come.
I did not hear that from Nynaeve's line.
No?
There was also the entitled bastards, no offense, Elaine, none taken, coming from someone sleeping with an actual king.
Yeah, well.
This episode is funny, I'm sorry to say. Like, there's a bunch of tension in the White Tower, but it's also hilarious.
It's very funny.
the last funny scene, Matt trying to freaking sleep, and on one side there's Galad fucking, and the other side Gawain fucking. I'm sorry, this episode is just too funny.
I absolutely thought it was Morghese and Gabriel fucking.
Would have also been hilarious. Well, anyway.
Well,
You can hear like Galad and Gawain. I just love that in the subtitle you get like Gawain moaning and
Oh, see, I didn't. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I just like to imagine that they're gonna switch Gawain and Galad's stories, and that Gawain was just going to town with a bunch of warders.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Wait, switch their stories? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Switch their storylines. Galad, I don't know.
Are you so invested in this thought of Galad being a homosexual that you've just, like, it's so ingrained in you
Look.
that Galad just fucks men on the regular? What is happening?
Okay, so we're going to the waist, and Moraine already has her emotional support hat.
Yes.
That was my first note.
Mm-hmm.
My first note was what a scenery and the music.
The music was really nice.
Yeah.
I did love Avienda saying I would make it before night by foot, but
Yeah. Like, listen, she has no respect for these people at all.
nope.
At all.
I really loved in this specific scene with Avienda being like, your Wetlander prophecies are so clean. And Moraine perks up so fucking quickly. Like, prophecies?
Mm-hmm.
What about prophecies? Prophecies? You said something about prophecies, Avienda? I need to hear about your prophecies.
Tell me about every single one of them.
Is there cooch involved in this prophecy?
Yeah, we got, I did make a note of, like, oh, prophecies, more prophecies, because excellent. And also, we got some sheep herder, Lan calling Rand a sheep herder, which also very good.
Yeah. I think Lan asking Rand about his feeling is absolutely against everything that the book stands for.
Not in my wheel of time.
I just know that some incel on Facebook or Reddit or Twitter was just like losing his shit over Lan asking Rand about his emotions.
Also, I've got to say, the training scene was on the Belltime Lantern song, and that broke my heart because that song is absolutely freaking stunning, and every time I hear it, I'm like, that cello is amazing. I'm sorry, I love it.
Yeah. The music on this show is so well done, and it blends into scenes really well too. And like, you know, now that we're 3 seasons in, we now like recognize the different musical cues that are happening, and it reminds us of, you know, like what they're connected to, what they're tied to, which is it's exactly as it should be. I love it.
Yeah. What else about the waste? There's a lot of discussion about, like, there's a lot to say about dreams with respect to the Isle waste road trip. There's a kind of a first scene with Egwene asking, like, Moraine asking Egwene about the bruise she gets on the neck, and then we see why she gets those bruises.
So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding correctly. Lanfear is both in Rand's dreams and fucking with Rand, while also positively
and fucking Rand
and fucking Rand, both fucking with Rand and also fucking Rand, and then just fucking, unfortunately, with poor Egwene in her dreams and giving her horrible nightmares. Which,
yes,
my God, the power to influence 2 people at the same time.
I was shocked when it was Lanfear in Egwene's dreams, because I was like, that is, I mean, here's the thing. Lanfear is evil.
Yes.
That's fucked up, though.
Yes.
It's like in Rand's dreams, she's like the sweetest, sexiest woman around. She's very gorgeous, I'm sorry to say. Like,
oh my God.
The shot when she's watching the window, she's gorgeous, okay?
The lighting? Are you kidding me? Oh my God.
In Egwene's dream, I must strangle that girl every single night for months.
She is just torturing this poor girl. Like, it's so bad. so bad. Like, it's completely in line with Lanfear as a character. Nothing about this is out of line. It's just, it's fascinating seeing, and because they were happening essentially at the same time, it's just like you'd see Lanfear like, oh, Ran and then just like choking Egwene out. Just,
and she's getting off both ways.
Yes,
she is.
that's the thing. Who is having a better time than Lanfear right now? I don't think anyone is.
Moghedien.
Maybe you know what, you were right. Moghedien is having a great time right now.
She's just living her best life.
she is living her best freaky ass life.
And Lanfear, like, saying, is that where you draw the line, name calling, when in the meantime she's basically strangling his girlfriend? Like, what?
Yeah.
It's wild. It's very good. It's just, oof.
But also, like, I'm like, I can't wait for Rand and Egwene to break up, because, like, this is emotional cheating. Like, and Rand has the audacity to say, I have nightmares too, when Egwene is talking about her dreams. And I'm like, bitch, you two are not the same. This is not the same thing, okay?
I have nightmares too. About what?
About what? Girl, what?
What are you nightmares about?
Yeah.
You're fucking Lanfear.
Exactly.
You're fucking your ex.
Mm-hmm. No consequences.
I mean, I don't think he's fucking her in the dreams, but he's definitely being reminded it.
I'm sorry. I think they're fucking.
I think so too.
I don't think so, because, like, every time she gets close to him, he's like, Lanfear, we shouldn't. So I don't know whether they actually...
Lanfear, we shouldn't, and then she gets on her knees. Takes that 3,000 years of skill.
She was sleeping for most of that time.
Thinking about that dragon dick.
Yeah.
I love that we got Bear. I thought it was someone else, which we'll discuss in the book section. But I love that we got Bear in the dream, in Egwene's dream.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that, like, there's directly a recognition of both of them, like, at the end when we see the Aiel coming up. Like, Avienda basically asking, who did you tell that we were coming here? And nobody said anything. It just, why was...
Literally no one.
Nobody.
I thought Rand describing his desire to channel to Moraine was really, really well done.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very normal mother and son conversation. Extremely healthy, no issues there at all.
You have to embrace the bitter and the sweet, so you never forget which is which. Well, she's kind of basically asking him to keep channeling until he gets mad, but that's okay, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little bit weird. I think that part about Moraine being like, you need to learn how to channel. And I'm like, well, you just told Egwene like 20 minutes ago to watch out for signs of madness. So what side are you on?
Mm-hmm. I think that's the thing, though, with Moraine. It's this continuing thread of like, is Moraine a good guy? Is she good?
Moraine's just willing to do whatever it takes.
That's the thing.
Do we have anything else? Yeah, I don't have anything else on the waist.
I love Davienda. That's the only thing I say. Yeah.
Avi's great.
Making fun of swords. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
We get a tiny, tiny little bit of Two Rivers that we can talk about, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the fact that we get the alternate depiction of traveling in the ways.
Yes. That was great.
Using the actual, leaf of Avendasora.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty. Like, the Waygate was stunning.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Perrin got to do some sniffing.
Lots of sniffing.
I did not like the comment of Loyal about the Dark Friend thing, because we're assuming that the people who came by, like, since we met them later on, are Alana and Maxime. And I do not like the idea that one of them may be a Dark Friend. I don't want it. I don't like it.
Oh, I didn't make that connection.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
I don't think that's... Yeah.
My note on Alana and Maxim is, how the fuck did they get there so quickly?
That was my question.
I mean, Waygate, my guess is.
I am assuming, yeah.
It had to have been the Waygate.
Because they saw footsteps, and so I'm assuming that this was...
Yeah. We get a bit of lore about the longing and the steading, which I found nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that explains his look this season. I don't like Loyal's look this season.
Okay.
He looks like a budget Loyal.
He looks a little scrouchy.
I disagree, but you do you.
but you do you, boo. It's fine.
Well, are adding physical effects to the longing new? Because I think that's new.
It could be.
I didn't see any physical effect, but also, like, I don't know. I don't remember how he looked like.
Well, he described there being physical effects.
He did. That's true. So yeah, maybe, you know what, that it could be that.
I mean, mental health issues do cause physical effects.
Absolutely they do.
Not in the Wheel of Time, they don't.
Never, ever.
No. I did get a very, so when Perrin is getting, like, really back into the Two Rivers, and as people are watching him go by, and it seems like some people are almost not even recognizing him completely, because they're kind of looking at him and clocking that he's someone, like, it's that feeling of like, oh, are you, I almost recognize you, but not quite. And it's very much that feeling of like, you've been living away and then you come back home and everything looks the same, but also not. And also you are very different. Like, you're the same, but also different. And that was very much the vibe that I was getting with Perrin. I'm just like, oh yeah, like I know this feeling. I remember this feeling.
There's been kind of a theme of how there's no homecoming for any of the Two Rivers, or like, I mean, it was about Elaine also with our discussion with Morghese. In the previous episode, there was Moraine and Rand talking about that. And for Perrin, like, Perrin is coming back after at least a year, because there was another bail time in season 2. He has changed. He has been through shit. And yeah, it's understandable that he doesn't recognize everyone and everyone doesn't recognize him in a way. It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he definitely didn't recognize Mr. Salvia because she got recast.
Yes.
Wait, who got recast?
Mr. Salvier.
Egwene's mom.
Oh.
Yes.
I thought you were saying, I was talking to some friends from home.
Very Southern. I was going to say, I thought you were saying.
I was talking with some friends earlier from home. Anyways, I thought you were saying that Mr. something or other. I was like, who? Mr. who? But it's Mr. Salvier, okay.
Yes.
The new actress is great. I kind of miss the previous one, but she's great.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Salvier was in one episode of season 1, so it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, they mentioned that Bran, Tam, and Abel were getting Perrin's family art, which makes me think we're probably not going to see any of them this season, so maybe they could not join.
Yeah.
It's like a nice excuse to get them away. But I haven't checked IMDb, but maybe they show up later that season.
I did like Loyal. We got the traditional, like, Loyal's greeting, and then also the Aiel greeting when they met Mr. Salvier with your name sings in my ears, Mr. Salvier, and then I never know which one is which, either Bane or Chiad saying either one of them. May you always have water and shade, roof mistress. Mm-hmm. It's just very, yeah, like, it's hearing things like that, it always makes me feel warm and fuzzy. I don't know why, but it makes me happy.
Yeah. No, I like it.
I just remember that Bane is the thick one and Chiad is tiny.
You know what? That helps me, actually. That helps.
That will not help me.
I love Ben and Chiad, actually, in this episode, because in the books, they're not partially characters that I cared about much. Like, they don't have much of a personality in the books. Here, like, I love them. I think it was when they have a discussion about the White Cloak and the Trollocs, and Chiad saying, if you ask the lion to protect you from the bear, you've only chosen to end up in one belly instead of another. And Maxim and Elana were, like, almost laughing at that.
Yes. Like, the look. It made me both happy and sad, because I think honestly that was probably the first time that either of them have had anything even close to joy or happiness.
Humor.
You know what I mean? Humor, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it's just because they just look at each other like, oh, are they serious? Okay. You know, it was good. It was very good.
Talking about Elana and Maxim, we still don't know why they're in the Two River. It's gonna be, a
mystery.
I want to know. Anything else to say about Two Rivers?
No, I'm ready to go into book spoilers.
No, I'm ready for book spoilers too.
The scenery is just pretty to me. Like, those mountains, there's a few mention of Manaseren. That's something that I did not like. Loyal mentioning Manaseren, Perrin saying we're just farmers now. I'm curious whether they're gonna, like, the show is gonna insist more on the ancestry for the two rivers, maybe in this arc. I think that'd be interesting.
I'm just thinking back to that horrible season 1 song.
Okay, anyways.
I forgot you hated that.
So time to go into book spoiler. If you haven't read the books, it's time to stop. But let's go.
Get out.
Okay, before we get into the Gabriel of it all, let's get into everything not Gabriel.
Yes, okay. Perfect.
Tygrind mention. That was great.
Yes.
Mordredon and Tygrind being mentioned. I love that.
Yes.
Other than Gabriel, the other thing that I noted that I thought was nice was Swan's chest. Like, it's really kind of an Easter egg, like the chest that she's looking, and I don't know.
Yes, where she puts the thing. I was talking about. I made a note about Swan's box.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know, James, you were talking about something else.
You guys were talking about her chest and her box, and I'm like,
yeah. Swan's chest in her box.
Where she's putting all of her letters, and it's trash.
I know.
Oh, I thought you meant like her pussy or something, the box.
She puts all her special things.
That's what I was saying. I was gonna say, like, Camille, your note said Swan's chest, and I was just like her tattoos?
Her boobs?
No,
and I understand
the
what you
metal
mean
chest,
now.
not the...
Her mommy milkers?
Yes. I got it.
It's also called a chest, I'm sorry to say. English is not my language.
I know.
I
can't help it. English is weird. We don't call, like in French, we don't call boobs like a chest.
Okay.
No. I know. Listen, we're not disagreeing with you. We know that English. Listen, we know that English is fucked up.
Anyway, Gabriel.
No, I have a couple other non-Gabriel things.
No, I have one more thing. Go ahead, Matt. Go, James.
I like to think that the girl that came into the room while Matt was showing off the horn was Elsie Grinwell. And I wonder what Battleman is referring to.
Yes, that was my note as well. Is she seeing...
It's a coup.
I assume it has to be the coup.
Yeah.
Is it the coup or is it the Sean shit? Is it too late?
It's too early to tease Ascension.
Yeah, you think it's the coup, huh?
Because the coup's happening real soon, and I'm sure it's going to be as bloody as
the shredding. Yeah.
If not more. If not more.
My only other note there was like Swan saying, I can't trust anybody, or I can't be sure that no one is Black Aja, even Liane, even Varen. And I'm like, LOL.
Listen.
You're working so closely with the Black Aja, girl.
Every time people interact with Varen and say something like that, my brain screams because I'm like, ah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, it's great though. It's great.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Anything else outside of Gabriel? Or...
Oh no, I'm good to talk about Gabriel.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this motherfucker. Let's talk about him.
I thought they did it really well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So someone joked on Blue Sky, and it's like the encapsulation of how well they've done it. Someone joked, "Man, Gabriel was good in season 1 and 2, but he's really picked up in season 3."
I saw that.
Perfect.
I saw that also on Tumblr with a few people being like, leave in the comment your favorite Gabriel scene in season 1 and 2, and people inventing things. It was very well done. Like, we know that's something weird because of those tiny silence, but I know not every non-reader noticed. So it was really good.
Yeah.
I was gagged because Suan was like, a pleasure as always. And I'm like, bitch, what?
Yes. I was like, excuse me?
He overdid the compulsion there, okay?
Oh my god. Like, and the fact that Elida has been with Morghese since Morghese was in her late teens, I believe. She has been with her for years at this point. Elida hasn't even, that's so impressive and quite frankly terrifying. It's so well done.
It is.
I was actually wondering whether he was responsible for Morghese going to Tarbanon, and maybe it was his hope to get rid of Elida, because maybe that makes things complicated.
Yeah.
Because now, Morghese they're rid of both of her sons, her daughters, and her main advisor. I'm assuming it makes things easier for Gabriel, who's probably also responsible for like the tension that is currently ongoing in Andor, because we are told that Gareth Bryan, the Captain General, has been fired, and now there's tension with the army. Why was he fired? Maybe because he was actually the boyfriend, and now he's out.
Yeah. Yeah, or like even if that's not like he recognized that something is not right with Gabriel, and Gabriel.
That was my assumption. Was he recognized he was too strong to be compulsed, or he was fighting the compulsion?
Yeah.
Speaking of, and this is just a small thing, more Elaine praise. Like, how badass is it that when you are under compulsion and your mother is under compulsion, you still have like enough of a spine to basically say, nope, I'm gonna do my own thing anyways, because you know that Robin was like,
but was it her?
I think it was, because she is so strong-willed.
I think it was too. I would like to think that.
I like to think that. I don't know, it could have been Robin.
It's for the whole thing, I don't know exactly what was Ravin's plan, and whether everything fell exactly where he wanted, or whether something felt as not as he wanted. That's the place where it's like, for me it's fuzzy, and I don't really know where that goes. I'm curious to see whether we're gonna see anything. And also, like, Nynaeve telling to Elaine, "Is the Lion Throne under threat? Your mother looks well in control of everything to me."
There were so many things. There were quite a few things that happened in this episode where I was just like, oh, I can feel plot points knocking at the door.
Yes.
Like, just like, like their specific thing, just like, hello, I'm right here. Like the coup, it feels so close right now. Like, it's hanging on a knife's edge right now with like how things are playing out. They're doing a really good job at sort of at the flow of things, I think, this season.
Yes.
They're setting up a lot of things, like, and it's not just the plot is moving forward, but there's also still things being set up and being referred to, and a lot of foreshadowing going on, and that's kind of cool. I know, like, this episode made me want to see more of Morghese, and I'm curious what the show's gonna do with her. Especially like considering that I hate what the books do with her. So yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Anything else?
For sure.
No, I didn't really have anything. I just love how they did Gabriel.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Great episode overall. I had a lot of fun, and also there was a lot of tension. And on this, thank you very much for listening to this episode of The Quiz of Time. As always, you can find us on Blue Sky, Tumblr, and we have a Discord that you can join where we can talk about various gay things and The Wheel of Time, of course, as always. If you want to support us, we also have a Patreon on which you can get access to episode in advance and also unedited recording. And that's pretty much it. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye!
Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.